There was a blind beggar whom everyone passed by. But one day he saved a sick child with his own money, and God miraculously restored his sight. That is the reward for mercy and kindness. In a busy city marketplace, there lived a blind beggar named Ravi. Ravi had been blind since birth. He had never seen the light of day, the faces of his loved ones, or the colors of the world. His entire life had been lived in darkness. Ravi sat every day on the same street corner near the marketplace. He sat with a small bowl in front of him, hoping that people passing by would put a few coins in the bowl to help him survive. He had no family, no home, and no one to care for him. He depended entirely on the charity of strangers. Most people who passed Ravi did not even notice him. They walked quickly, looking straight ahead, pretending not to see the blind beggar. Some people saw him but chose to ignore him. A few occasionally dropped a coin or two in his bowl, but their charity was often given grudgingly, without any genuine kindness or compassion. Ravi had learned to accept this treatment without anger or bitterness. He knew that people were busy with their own lives, their own problems, their own concerns. He did not expect kindness from the world. He was grateful for whatever small amount of money he received each day, enough to buy a simple meal and perhaps a place to sleep in a crowded shelter. But despite his blindness and his poverty, Ravi had something that many sighted and wealthy people did not have. He had a kind heart. He had compassion for others. Even though he had very little, he was always willing to help those who were suffering. One day, as Ravi sat in his usual place, he heard a small child crying nearby. The child's cries were not the cries of a spoiled child wanting something. They were the cries of a child in pain and suffering. Ravi could tell from the sound that the child was very sick or injured. Ravi listened carefully to locate the child. The child was sitting alone just a short distance away from where Ravi was begging. The child appeared to be about 8 years old, dressed in rags, with no one attending to him. Ravi moved toward the sound of the child's cries. He carefully felt his way along the ground with his hands, moving slowly and deliberately. He was used to navigating without sight, but the marketplace was crowded and dangerous. When Ravi reached the child, he knelt down beside him. "Hello, child," Ravi said gently. "What is wrong? Why are you crying?" The child looked at Ravi with surprise and fear. A blind man was approaching him, this child thought. The child did not know what to expect. But Ravi spoke to the child with such genuine kindness and concern that the child's fear diminished. The child told Ravi his name was Arjun and that he was very sick. Arjun had a high fever. His head ached terribly. His entire body hurt. "I have been sick for 3 days, Arjun told Ravi. "My mother had to go work in a house far away. She left me with money to buy medicine, but I lost the money. Now I cannot buy medicine. I do not know what to do." Ravi felt deep compassion for this sick child. He knew what it was like to suffer, to be in pain, to feel helpless. He knew what it was like to not have enough money for basic needs. Without hesitation, Ravi reached into his own pocket and removed the few coins he had collected that day from begging. It was not much, perhaps enough to buy a simple meal for himself, but it was enough to buy medicine for the child. "Here," Ravi said, placing the coins in the child's hand. "Take this money and buy medicine from the pharmacy. Take care of yourself. Get well." Arjun was shocked. This blind beggar, who obviously had very little himself, was giving his own meager earnings to help a sick child. "But how will you eat today?" Arjun asked with concern. "Do not worry about me," Ravi said with a smile. "I will manage. Your health is more important than my hunger today." Arjun took the money, tears streaming down his face from both his illness and his gratitude at this stranger's kindness. Arjun took the money and found a pharmacy. He bought medicine for his fever and infection. He took the medicine as instructed and slowly began to recover. Within a few days his fever broke. His pain decreased. His strength returned. During his recovery, Arjun thought often about the kind blind beggar who had helped him. He thought about how this man, who had nothing, had given everything he had to help a stranger. Arjun realized that he had witnessed true compassion and true kindness. When Arjun fully recovered, his mother returned from her work. She was relieved and grateful that her son was well. Arjun told her the story of the blind beggar who had helped him. He told her that he wanted to find this man and thank him properly. Arjun's mother was moved by the story. She had not raised her son to forget kindness. She decided that she would help her son repay the debt of gratitude. The next day, Arjun and his mother went to the marketplace. They searched for the blind beggar. They found Ravi sitting in his usual place. Arjun's mother approached Ravi and spoke to him. "You are the man who helped my son when he was sick," she said. "You gave him money for medicine when you had almost nothing yourself. You saved his life. I do not know how to repay your kindness, but I want to try." Ravi smiled. "You do not owe me anything," he said. "Helping your son was its own reward. To know that he has recovered is all the gratitude I need." But Arjun's mother insisted. She wanted to do something for Ravi. She brought him to a simple restaurant and bought him a good meal, the best meal he had eaten in years. She also gave him money to help him survive for a while. Over the following weeks, Arjun's mother continued to help Ravi. She brought him clothes, blankets, and food regularly. She helped him find a small room to live in instead of sleeping on the streets. She introduced him to a charitable organization that helped blind people. One day, about a month after Ravi had helped Arjun, something extraordinary happened. Ravi was sitting in his room when he began to experience a strange sensation in his eyes. First, he thought it was just his imagination, but the sensation grew stronger. Suddenly, Ravi's eyes began to hurt. He felt pressure inside his eyes, as if something was changing, transforming. It was painful, but it was not the pain of illness. It was the pain of change, of transformation. Ravi sat in his room, confused and frightened. He did not know what was happening to him. He called out for help. A neighbor came to his room and was shocked to see tears streaming down Ravi's face. "What is wrong?" the neighbor asked with concern. "My eyes," Ravi said. "Something is happening to my eyes. I feel strange sensations. I am afraid." The neighbor brought Ravi to a hospital. The doctors examined him carefully. They were amazed by what they found. Somehow, miraculously, Ravi's vision was returning. The condition that had kept him blind since birth was reversing itself. The doctors could not explain how this was possible. It was medically unprecedented. They ran multiple tests to make sure it was real. The tests confirmed it. Ravi's vision was truly returning. Within days, Ravi could see light and shadows. Within weeks, he could see shapes and colors. Within months, his vision had returned almost completely. He could see the world for the first time in his life. The first thing Ravi saw when his vision fully returned was the face of Arjun's mother, who had been visiting him regularly at the hospital. When Ravi saw her face, he wept with overwhelming gratitude. "I can see," Ravi said over and over. "I can see your face. After a lifetime of darkness, I can finally see." Arjun and his mother embraced Ravi with joy and tears. News of the miracle spread through the hospital and eventually through the city. Doctors could not explain it medically, but many people believed it was a miracle, a reward for Ravi's kindness and compassion. After his recovery, Ravi's life was completely transformed. He could work and earn a decent living. He found employment as a teacher's assistant in a school, helping blind and visually impaired children. His own experience with blindness made him uniquely qualified to understand and help these children. Ravi's story became famous in the city. Many people heard about the blind beggar, who had helped a sick child and who had been miraculously healed. His story inspired many people to be more compassionate and to help those in need. Arjun grew up to become a successful doctor. He never forgot the kindness that Ravi had shown him when he was sick and suffering. Arjun dedicated his medical career to helping poor and sick children, especially those who could not afford treatment. He often spoke about Ravi's kindness as the inspiration for his life's work. When Arjun became a doctor, one of his first actions was to help establish a free clinic in the marketplace where Ravi used to beg. This clinic provided medical care to poor people who could not afford it. Ravi worked at the clinic, helping to care for the patients. Years later, when Ravi was old and nearing the end of his life, he was interviewed about his experience of regaining his sight. "People ask me how it happened," Ravi said. "How did a blind man suddenly regain his sight? Medical science cannot explain it. But I know the answer. It happened because of one act of kindness." He continued, "When I gave that sick child my money for medicine, I was not expecting anything in return. I did it because my heart could not bear to see a child suffer when I had the power to help. That act of kindness opened a door. That act of kindness allowed me to receive kindness in return. And somehow that created a miracle. Ravi spent his remaining years working at the clinic, helping sick and poor people, and telling his story to inspire others to be compassionate and kind. Arjun had children of his own. He taught them about Ravi's kindness and about the importance of helping those in need. He brought his children to the clinic to volunteer and to learn compassion from an early age. One of Arjun's sons became a social worker dedicated to helping homeless and poor people. Another became a teacher of blind children. The third became a journalist who wrote stories about inspiring people like Ravi, hoping to inspire others to be kind and compassionate. The clinic that Arjun had founded grew over the years. It began with just a few doctors and nurses, but eventually it expanded to serve hundreds of patients daily. The clinic became known throughout the city as a place where poor people could receive free medical care without judgment or discrimination. Many other people were inspired by Ravi's story. Some wealthy people began to donate money to the clinic. Some professionals volunteered their time to help patients. Some started their own charitable organizations based on the principles of compassion that Ravi had demonstrated. A documentary was made about Ravi's life. The documentary showed his life as a blind beggar, his act of kindness toward Arjun, his miraculous recovery of sight, and his subsequent work helping others. The documentary was watched by thousands of people, and it inspired many viewers to be more compassionate in their own lives. Schools began to teach Ravi's story as a lesson in kindness and compassion. Children learned about how one act of kindness could create ripples of goodness that extended far beyond the original act. They learned that even the poorest and most suffering person has something valuable to give: compassion and kindness. Many decades later, after Ravi had passed away peacefully in his sleep, the city honored his memory by erecting a statue of him in the marketplace where he had spent so many years as a blind beggar. The statue showed Ravi with his hand outstretched, as if giving help to someone in need. The inscription on the statue read, "Ravi blind but not without vision, a man who gave when he had nothing, and inspired generations to serve others." Every year on Ravi's birthday, people gathered at the statue to remember him and to celebrate his life. They shared stories of how Ravi had inspired them to be kinder and more compassionate. They spoke of how his miracle had changed their understanding of what was possible when people truly cared for each other. Dr. Arjun, now elderly himself, attended the annual celebration. He would stand before the statue and remember the day when he was a sick child and a blind beggar had given him his last coins for medicine. "That one act of kindness saved my life," Arjun would say to the gathering. "But more than that, it taught me what truly matters in life. It taught me that compassion is the greatest wealth. It taught me that no act of kindness is ever wasted. It taught me that one person can make a difference." Arjun would also speak about Ravi's miraculous recovery of sight. "Many people ask how it happened," Arjun would say. "How could a man blind since birth suddenly regain his sight? I do not claim to have a scientific explanation. But I know this: sometimes miracles happen when people choose compassion over indifference. Sometimes miracles happen when we give without expecting return. Sometimes the universe rewards kindness in ways we cannot understand or predict." The clinic that Arjun had founded had grown into a hospital serving thousands of poor people every year. The hospital was named the Ravi Center for Compassionate Care, in honor of the blind beggar whose kindness had inspired it all. The impact of Ravi's kindness continued to ripple outward through the decades. His story inspired countless acts of charity and compassion throughout the city and beyond. A wealthy businessman who heard Ravi's story donated his entire fortune to build hospitals and schools for poor children. He said that Ravi's example had shown him that true wealth was not measured in money, but in the difference you could make in people's lives. A famous athlete, moved by Ravi's story, dedicated his life to sponsoring poor and blind children, helping them pursue their dreams despite their disabilities. He credited Ravi as his inspiration. A filmmaker made a feature-length movie based on Ravi's life. The movie was screened in countries around the world. People from different cultures and religions watched the story and were inspired to be kinder and more compassionate in their own communities. Universities began to use Ravi's story as a teaching tool in their courses on ethics, philosophy, and social responsibility. Professors spoke about how one blind beggar's act of kindness had created a moral legacy that inspired millions of people decades after his death. Religious leaders of different faiths spoke about Ravi's story as an example of the spiritual principle present in all religions. The principle that compassion and kindness are the highest values, and that serving others is the highest calling. Most importantly, ordinary people in their daily lives were inspired by Ravi's story. Parents told their children about Ravi before bedtime. Teachers brought up Ravi's example when teaching their students about kindness. Social workers referenced Ravi when motivating people to volunteer and help others. Doctors spoke about Ravi when encouraging their colleagues to treat poor patients with the same care and dignity as wealthy patients. Years after Ravi's death, a young journalist was researching Ravi's story for a documentary. The journalist interviewed many people who had known Ravi or who had been inspired by his story. In these interviews, the journalist discovered something remarkable. Many people who had known Ravi when he was blind spoke about how he seemed to have a special ability to see people, not with his eyes but with his heart. Despite his blindness, Ravi could tell when someone was suffering. He could sense when someone needed help. He knew immediately that Arjun was sick just by hearing him cry. Ravi was not just blind. One of the nurses who had worked with him said, "He was blind to material things, but he could see the human spirit. He could see people's pain. He could see their need. He could see their potential." When he regained his sight, people expected him to be amazed by physical beauty or material things. But what amazed Ravi was the same thing that had always amazed him: the beauty of human kindness and compassion. This observation led the journalist to understand something profound about Ravi's story. Ravi's blindness had not prevented him from having vision. True vision was not about seeing physical objects. True vision was about seeing human suffering and responding with compassion. True vision was about understanding what truly matters in life. The journalist realized that the title "The Blind Beggar's Vision" had a double meaning. Yes, Ravi had been given physical sight as a miracle, but he had always possessed true vision, the vision to see what mattered, to see suffering, and to respond with kindness. When Ravi's physical sight was restored, it was not because he lacked vision. It was a reward for the vision he already had, the vision of a compassionate heart. The documentary that the journalist created became one of the most watched and most influential documentaries ever made about a single person. People from around the world watched Ravi's story and were moved to tears. The documentary concluded with this reflection: Ravi was a blind beggar who had nothing materially but who possessed everything spiritually. He gave his last coins to a sick child. In return, he received not just his physical sight, but the lasting gratitude and love of millions of people. His story teaches us that true vision is not about seeing with our eyes. True vision is about seeing with our hearts. True vision is about seeing the suffering of others and choosing to help. True vision is about understanding that the greatest wealth is compassion, and the greatest miracle is kindness. The documentary had a profound impact on society. Crime rates decreased in the city where Ravi had lived, as people became more compassionate toward each other. Charitable donations increased significantly as people were inspired to help those in need. Schools reported that children became kinder and more empathetic after learning about Ravi. Most importantly, the documentary created a global movement focused on compassion and service. People in different countries started initiatives inspired by Ravi's example. They started free clinics, built schools for poor children, created mentorship programs, and started volunteer organizations, all inspired by the story of one blind beggar's kindness. The story of Ravi became a reminder that one person can change the world. One act of kindness can create ripples that extend far beyond what we can imagine. One blind man's compassion could inspire millions of people across generations and continents to be kinder, more compassionate, and more dedicated to serving others. The story of Ravi the blind beggar teaches us several profound truths about the nature of kindness, compassion, and miracles. First, it teaches us that material poverty does not prevent spiritual richness. Ravi had almost nothing materially, but he had unlimited compassion. He was richer in spirit than many wealthy people in the city. Second, it teaches us that true vision is not about seeing with our eyes. True vision is about seeing the suffering of others and responding with compassion. Ravi had true vision despite his blindness. Third, it teaches us about the power of one act of kindness. One blind beggar's gift of coins to a sick child created a chain of events that transformed the lives of millions of people and inspired positive change across generations. Fourth, it teaches us that miracles can happen when we choose compassion. Whether Ravi's recovery of sight was medically possible or truly miraculous, it happened because of his compassion. His kindness opened doors that seemed impossible to open. Fifth, it teaches us that legacy is not measured in money or possessions. Ravi left behind a legacy of kindness and compassion that was worth far more than any financial inheritance. Finally, it teaches us that every person, no matter how poor or seemingly insignificant, has the power to change the world through kindness and compassion.